What's up, everybody? MrScaryMuffin here again, back at you with another Thoughts Talk and TF2. And this week I want to talk about the patch updates that came out before Christmas. And I'm sorry it's all late, but it's kind of true to form what I've been doing before. I like to play around with the changes before I want to give my provide my commentary. I want to see how the metagame has adapted to it prior to doing anything about it. But yeah, so we had a whole bunch of weapons that got some nerfs, got a whole bunch of weapons that got some buffs. Actually, I think pretty much all the weapons that got changed were buffs. So we had no nerfs, just a lot of buffs going on, although one of them got re-nerfed back later on. But yeah, so I had a couple of things. You know, we had the Christmas episode, we had the New Year's resolution episode, I put in the channel update, but we're finally getting around to it. I hope you guys don't mind. And I'll give a little bit of update of what's going on in my life right now too as well. Haven't had much time to edit videos. I know some of you guys were looking for that Pathfinder stuff, and I haven't had time to edit it, unfortunately. Anyways, let's get with it. You can see I'm using the Battalion's Backup. I have that plus 20 HP that you get for using the Battalion's Backup. The Battalion's Backup, of course, is the backpack for the soldier. I think before this I was using the gunboat, so not much of a difference for me. I didn't use my secondary anyways, although it would have been nice to deal with that scout. But yeah, the Battalion's Backup, when you charge up your rage meter, you also get the defensive buff, so it gives you like a resistance against stuff in general. So it pairs nicely with the extra HP bonus, and I actually do survive in this little bat with a little bit of HP, and I totally was not watching my HP, and I just rocket jump and kill myself. But moving along with that, we have the Conqueror, a different backpack for the soldier, and that also has been buffed. It gives an additional 2 health per second passive to the wearer, which is kind of like a soft heal, I think. I haven't actually tried this out, but it seems like it's pretty nice, because I do play. It's good for the passive soldier, I suppose. I'm just gonna double check right here. Yeah, regenerating lost health at 2 health per second. So that is actually an amazing thing. I might actually run that instead of Battalion's Backup, because I am a kind of a patient soldier, and it kind of balances out the lack of gunboats for me, I guess. The Conqueror, of course, then later on you just get more health in return. It's kind of like combine the Conqueror with the Black Box, and you'll have an interesting time. Lots of health regaining occurring. Soldier, they're kind of doing what they did with the Heavy, where they wanted the Heavy to be able to function without a medic, and so they're trying to get a soldier to be able to function without a medic as well. So it's kind of neat change. Criticola, the damage that you get when you use Criticola has been reduced from 25% extra damage to 10%, but you're still dealing extra damage out to other people. You're still doing the 25% out, so it is a better trade-off now for the scouts, and it makes Criticola a little bit more interesting to run. I know I've seen some people run the Criticola in competitive play, specifically even in the upper platinum brackets of UGC. In ESAA kind of stuff. There are people running Criticola out there for like the really fast picks, and I think this buff to the Criticola might make it so that a few more people might run Criticola. But of course, it is not something you run all the time. It's something when you take to maybe a mid-fight, or it's kind of a gamble when you're trying to push into something. Just to have that extra damage really helps. Now here's a change that I really enjoy, and I've been fiddling around with it a little bit just to see how it's like. The Diamondback now gains an additional critical attack for backstabs, as well as sapping successful saps on engineers, and that, you know, it gives a really good sidearm to the L'Etranger. So the L'Etranger, you have the increased cloak time, which is nice as a passive thing. But I'm used to having regular cloak enough that I don't really need this L'Etranger. It's just a nice bonus. And now with the Diamondback getting critical attacks, that also answers one of my other things, which was I'm just a really bad shot. Or if you backstab someone, you can pull out the Diamondback and kill a shield sniper. I didn't really like those Stranger because it had less damage and required me to 3 or 4 shot a sniper who had a shield, and you know, sometimes 2 or 3 shots with the regular revolver is enough to kill the sniper, and they don't have time to react. But when you're in the 3-4 area, there's enough time for them to realize that they're being hit and to start moving around, making it very difficult for me to actually finish them off with a pistol. So the Diamondback offers an interesting alternative, and I'll be probably looking for a strange Diamondback now, because I kind of feel like I want to use those critical attacks, and yeah, it'll be good to be using. Flying Guillotine. Alt attack now also throws the guillotine when active. I guess that's just more of a usability thing. Short Circuit. Now here's the big controversial thing. The Short Circuit, the attack speed has been sped up amazingly, so you don't even have to react. You can just hold down your trigger button and it will spam shoot the thing. Every time you use it, if you don't hit anything, it costs you 5 metal per attack. And Short Circuit, for those of you guys don't know, it will automatically destroy projectiles as long as you fire it at roughly the correct time. It will just reach out and touch that projectile and get rid of it. Just completely removes it. And you'll probably see later on in this video, probably, I don't know, 10 minutes from now, I basically, anytime I see a soldier or a demo man especially, I can just run up to them and charge and just shoot the thing, and they won't be able to reply because they don't have a weapon. They'll probably have to pull out their melee, or if they're a soldier, they can pull out their shotgun. Yeah, so basically it gives Engineer a really good answer to the Demo Man and to the Soldier, and it may be too strong, I suppose. Basically, the Short Circuit already has been nerfed in the January 9th patch, which was just, you know, a couple days ago, and what they did to it was they lowered the damage, which I didn't think it did that much damage. It still took a ungodly amount of time to kill somebody. Like I had to basically run up and hold down the trigger, and even then I might run out of ammo before I kill somebody, so I don't know. I think the fact that it now consumes 15 metals when you actually destroy a projectile is probably enough to make it so that an engineer cannot kill a soldier or a demo man just by running at them with a short circuit. Like, you run at them with a short circuit, they're going to reduce your metal with a couple of shots, and you touch them with a couple more short circuits, and then you run out of ammo and they don't die. You have to pull out your shotgun to finish them off, right? So I think I really would have liked it if Valve just left it alone a little bit and see if the metagame evolved. We're going all team snipers here, but yeah, I would have liked it if Valve just let the metagame adapt to the short circuit. I think there was just a lot of people complaining about the short circuit being OP, but I really feel like after a couple of times playing that, it's really easy to handle. You can find a way around it. It's not that difficult. The engineer has to get pretty much in your face. You could just melee him and it takes only 3 hits versus whatever, how many seconds it takes to actually use the short circuit to kill someone. Anyways, short circuit can no longer be fired underwater. That's fine, and they fixed some of the visual stuff to do with it, which is great as well. So next one up is gonna be the soda popper. The soda popper now, the hype no longer grants mini crits, so I guess they want people to use the criticola as opposed to soda popper. I think what some people were doing, they were using both the criticola and the soda popper, so they would go soda popper first, kill some people, drink up the criticola, and then go for more crits kind of thing. But now the hyper mode grants extra air jumps, and that's gonna be interesting because I know the atomic bunk, the atomizer, I think it was, the bat that gave you 3 jumps. The bat was kind of soft banned and probably hard banned in a lot of competitive play because that 3rd jump, even though it costs health, that 3rd jump is quite a huge advantage. You can really throw off soldiers, rockets. You can really throw off the way people can play, and it's not even an adaptation kind of thing. It's just a straight up advantage because you have so many more options. And with the soda popper granting 5 extra air jumps, you can outlast a demo man, like pretty much. You can almost outlast all his stickies. You can outlast the soldier. Every time they shoot, you just jump again, and you're never gonna land on the stuff that they're trying to hit you with. It just gives them a straight up reaction advantage. So I don't know how much soda popper is going to be allowed in competitive play. I mean, in pub play, obviously people are gonna use it, and in pub play, unfortunately, scouts don't get used that much in pub play. Simply because they're a little bit fragile, and scouts are they're kind of like rooks in chess. They get better when there's less people around. Whereas pyros, I mentioned this before, pyros are like knights where they get better when there's a lot of people around, and the less people there are, the worse pyros come as an option. And the vice versa is true for the scout. So the scout is a better option when there's fewer people, and it's a worse option when there's a lot of people, just because they tend to get caught in crossfire, and they'll rarely get the 1v1 that the scout really wants. Soda Popper now hyper mode can be triggered with ult attack as opposed to automatically being triggered. That's a great thing. Before you had to charge up a little bit, switch to your pistol, and then switch back when you want it, and then you still have to run a little bit in order to get it. So it's nice so that, for the extra jumps, and it just gives scouts a on reaction extra air jumps when they want it. Beggar's Bazooka has been updated to use the same taunt as the direct hit, that's fine, and kill streaks have been improved. So that is all for all the updates. Overall, I like them. I like having side grades, and I think Valve's been doing a really good job of, well, you know, they've been doing an on and off job, let's say, of providing side grades so that not everybody is using the exact same loadout. There's still quite a few things where I like to see. Let's see, Soldier's fine. You have viable options, at least two, for primary, secondary, and melee. For Scout, you have some viable options. Maybe, yeah, you know, you have some good options. I've seen people run a lot of different things for Scout. For Pyro, it's really hard to get people off the Degreaser. Oh my goodness. It's really difficult to get people off the Degreaser, but at least they're giving good secondary and melee options for the Pyro now. Like, I'm constantly going like, well, should I run Homewrecker? Should I run the Outside? Should I run Extinguisher? For secondary, like, it depends on what I run for my melee as well. But the primary, man, the Degreaser, that switch option is just way too strong with being able to switch weapons really quickly. It makes a huge difference, or at least I feel like it makes a huge difference. Demoman, it's gonna be difficult to get Demoman off the grenade launcher and the sticky bombs. They're just way too strong. I really feel the Scottish Resistance needs some sort of a buff to make it more interesting, and I'm hoping to see them do little things with it, like slowly bring it up to par, just small tweaks as they go along, just to see how that goes. And of course, Demoman has a ton of melee options. Heavy's got some options for primary. I tend sometimes not to use some stuff. I can see viable secondaries. Sometimes you don't always want to run sandwich. It depends on your primary. And the melee, I feel the melee options aren't really there for heavy. I would like to see something done with the Fist of Steel to make it a little bit more appealing. But yeah. Medic, we've got some options for Medic. Yes, and Sniper has some options. Spy has now some options. Really, yeah, does have some options. And Engineer, yeah, I'll have some options. So yeah, I would like to see Heavy and Demo get played around with a little bit. Probably, ultimately, that's ideally what I want to see. So, with all that covered, let's talk about what's going on in my life right now. I started a full-time job last month, and that's part of the reason why I made the announcement that I probably won't have time to do daily videos. I will try to continue doing recordings. This is a Saturday. I'm rarely ever this close to the line before doing a Thoughts Talk on TF2, but I'm doing this basically the day before it's due to be uploaded. And things like the Pathfinder stuff, which requires a ton of editing time to do, I don't know if I'm going to be able to get that up in a timely fashion, and I thought I would, but I didn't, and I just want to get that episode out anyways. It's actually taking up a lot of hard drive space, and I want to get it out there, but we'll see. I want to get it out there, but I also want to do good with it, kind of thing. And there's a couple other things. I'm still playing a couple of games with people, so any of the easy stuff I'll try to get up as well, but the things that require a little bit more editing time, when I come back from work, I'm so tired, and I want to relax and stuff. It's hard. I'm going to try to shrug it off. I'll probably have to spend weekends working on it, but then all my usual social calls and stuff like that, that happens on the weekdays. It used to happen on weekdays when I was a freelancer. Now happens on the weekends, so I also don't have time on the weekends. So we'll have to see. It's interesting going from freelancing for a couple years and then switching over to a full-time job now, and a full-time job that has like quite a bit of overtime every now and then too. So I am tired a lot of these days, and it makes things a little bit more difficult. But I think first and foremost, I'm gonna not stop at all. I do not want to go on hiatus. I think in my mind, I know for sure going on hiatus is the absolute worst thing that can happen. When I went on hiatus several years ago, after I came out with Escapecraft, when I came out with Escapecraft 3. When I was working with Merlinus on that, I was still doing a full-time job, but it was easy to handle Escapecraft 3 because it was two of us. But then as soon as it became just only one of us, and just me, because he got a full-time job, it became really difficult to keep up with it. And eventually I just, you know what, I threw up my hands and went on hiatus, and I really regret that now because I felt like I probably could have done so much more with what I had back in the day, back in the day. But you know, that's 20 hindsight is 2020, but knowing that now, I really definitely want to keep going with videos, and I do not want to stop at all. So yeah, that is what's going on right now. You can see here, I'm trying to do my best to abuse the short circuit. This is kind of like the first day. I think I recorded this roughly within the first week of when the new updates came out, and I really just wanted to see how abusable this thing is. And so people were already complaining about it. I'm like, I don't see what's so bad about it. It does run you out of ammo really quickly. I think this is the part where I rushed that soldier. Here's a soldier. Hey, soldier. Oh, you can't shoot me? Here, let me just drill you. And then I ran out of ammo and just shotgun him anyways. No problem. Anyways, guys, thanks for watching. I'll catch you all next time. My name is MrScaryMuffin, and this has been Thoughts Talking TF2. Until next time, see ya!
Yeah, but you guys had heavy medics too.